Who's scruffy looking?
What is up, my fellow nerds and gangsters? Welcome back to the Spiffy Nerd Herder channel. I am Danny.
Yeah, we know who you are.
Now lately, guys, myself and a few very close friends have been trying to come up with an awesome, character-driven, exciting sci-fi feature film movie that can be done for relatively low budgets.
If we find the money.
And we have been batting around a ton of ideas that are super exciting, but that also are just not fitting the bill, and we're not loving them.
I know.
So I've been doing a lot of thinking about creativity and coming up with new ideas, and I want to pass on what I've been learning to you guys.
Giddy up.
And I want to talk about something called Divergent and Convergent thinking today. Now, what is Divergent and Convergent thinking? Basically, it's how to come up with a good idea. Now, essentially, it all starts with you and your little cerebro there, which is aka the brain.
Trying to take over the world.
And Divergent thinking is simply coming up with a ton of ideas. Now, there are 4 steps to Divergent thinking. The first step is don't decide what's a good idea and bad idea at the onset. Just come up with a ton of ideas, and don't worry about if they're good or bad.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Because if you sit there and think, I'm only going to come up with good ideas, you are going to automatically exclude a lot of great ideas that would be very good if you didn't write them off right away. Studies have shown that people who don't worry about if an idea is good or bad, they just try to come up with as many ideas as possible, will come up with twice as many good ideas as people who think from the onset, I'm only going to come up with good ideas right now. Who knew?
Not me.
Step 2 is generate a lot of ideas. Come up with as many as possible. Pablo Picasso did over 20,000 works during his life, yet you and I may only recognize a handful of those. So the more ideas you come up with, the more chances you have of coming up with a great idea.
That doesn't make sense.
Another one is borrow ideas. So that means make connections to outside things.
Do a lot of research, which I love to do, and
learn about different things. Combine ideas from yourself and others, and you will come up with something that is novel and great. The 4th step of Divergent thinking is look to the sky, guys. Think big, think outside the box. Don't let your imagination be hamstrung by, well, what could I do with the budget?
Ideas. That bomb is not coming out.
So now that you've come up with 100 ideas, some are hopefully great, others are probably going to be straight up horrible. Now it's time to find the diamond in the rough.
The diamond in the rough.
And to converge onto that great idea. Now, what's the first step? Well, it's to be positive about all the ideas that you've had. Don't automatically say, oh, that idea can't work. Moving on. Don't do that.
Well, how close are we to shrink ray technology? 700 years.
Curse you, Shrink Ray!
And don't say, well, that's not the way Star Wars did it, so we can't do it that way. Remember, Star Wars is the coolest, but it is not the only good idea out there. So don't kill good ideas before they've had the opportunity to become great ones. Step 2 is to stay curious about unexpected ideas. If it piques your curiosity, but you may not understand it totally, or you may not know how it can work, it's worth thinking more about it. Because if it piques your curiosity now, it's just a good idea, maybe it'll totally dominate your curiosity once it becomes a great idea.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
The 3rd step in this convergent thinking and getting to, whittling it all down is, what do you want to get out of your ideas? Do you want to have a great sci-fi idea? Do you want to have a great comedy idea? For instance, Bob Hope, who was one of the funniest comedians of all time, he used this exact process. And one of his requirements was that a joke had to make him laugh 3 times. So if he was able to read it 3 separate times and it made him laugh each of the 3 times, he knew he had a great joke, not just a good joke.
Oh, now this is an hilarious premise.
So in our case, as story writers, do our ideas get us excited every single time we read it? Because if it does, then we might be onto something. Now the 4th step in all this, as you really whittle it down, is to stay focused.
Stay on target.
Remember, the initial aha moment that you have in coming up with a good idea is only the beginning of the journey towards the great idea. That idea that something great is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration is totally true when it comes to filmmaking. There were a ton of drafts of the original Star Wars, and if you've read the original draft, it is not that good. Sorry, George, but I'm assuming you totally agree with me because you totally rewrote it into the movie that we have now. So refine your good ideas. Keep thinking about them because good ideas can become great ideas. Now I'm going to include a little document that has all these steps in the description below, so check it out. So now I want to know, guys, what is your favorite methods of being creative? How do you come up with good ideas that then turn into great ideas? Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video helped a little bit. And guys, remember to stay spiffy and don't do anything I wouldn't do twice.